Hi, I'm Mike,
And I'm Elise,
host of Crackin' One Open with Mike and Elise.
a podcast about brews, news, and pop culture reviews.
Every Friday, we choose a new craft beer from a different brewery and talk about
The history of the beer,
what's in it,
how it was made,
the history of the brewery.
along with tasting notes and more fun facts.
After that, come chill with us as we bring you the latest in pop culture news and reviews.
So check out Crackin' When Open, part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
Are you ready to be scared to death? You joined us for Scary Larry's House of Universal Horrors. Now prepare yourself for Scary Larry's Pint of Horrors. And don't forget, as always, these guys swear like fucking sailors.
Fuck yeah, we do.
Your motherfucking mother should open the door! Motherfuckers! You're going to open this motherfucking door!
All right, we're back. Another episode of Pint of Comics. As a matter of fact, this is a good one right here. This is your 180th episode of Pint of Comics. So we are closing in on 200. I'm John, and over there, underneath the Captain Phasma helmet, is the man, the Manster, Lloyd. Lloyd, what's going on?
Oh, me? Oh, hold on. There's some static on my screen. All right, I'm good now.
You good?
I'm good. Now, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. What's going on?
Not much, man. We got a fucking, this is a sausage party tonight, and we got an action-packed episode. So
This is a sausage party.
180 episodes of Pint of Comics, and this is the season premiere of season 2 of Scary Larry's House of Horrors. Fuck that. This is the first episode, the premiere of season 2 of Scary Larry's Pint of Horrors. We are back. We've got a whole brand new swath of movies to go through. We're going to do 10 episodes in this season. And of course, we have to have someone here for that. We got Scary Larry Dwyer. Larry, what's going on, man?
Gary.
Oh, man. I am fucking having a great time, John.
You having a great time?
I am. I got some Fruit Loops.
I see.
I got a cup of tea. I got a Gorgon Video T-shirt. I'm ready to roll, baby.
That's a strange snack. That is a strange fucking snack.
You think so? It's as far as dry cereals go.
Fruit Loops is good.
I thought you were doing that for the movie.
No, Fruit Loops just. Oh, that's right. Good call. I didn't even think of that. Fruit Loops for a dry cereal is top of when it comes to like a wet cereal.
Or AKA cereal. Yeah.
AKA cereal with milk.
Yeah.
I love Special K is a favorite. Cornflakes, pretty natural, but for a dry cereal, I really like Fruit Loops or what's the one that destroys the roof of your mouth? The
Captain Crunch.
Yeah, Captain Crunch. I like those for dry cereal.
I guess I didn't mean that was the weird part of the snack. It was the combination with the tea. It just seems a little, maybe like the dry cereal and a little milk or something. I don't know. I'm going traditional, but we got Larry here. We got like 3/4 of the staff of both horrornewsnetwork.net and the Connecticut Cult Classics back with us again. You all remember him from he spent some time with us. Gleam in the Cube. It's Shawnee Mac. Sean, what's going on, man?
What's up? Hey guys,
how you doing, man?
Not bad.
Good.
Just, I'm not eating Fruit Loops, so
no,
I don't know what that says about me. But
we can't all be as cool as Larry. Sean was with us For the last episode of the first season, we talked about Poltergeist and Sean's love of tract housing and Star Wars.
You left the bodies.
Yeah, and Craig T. Nelson. And with us again, you've heard him on episodes such as Prometheus, aka Why Can't Charlize Theron Run Out of the Way? It's Officer Mike Simonetta. Mike, what's going on, man? How have you been?
Excited to be here. This is the first episode of Larry's Serial podcast. Is that it? Is that what we're talking about today?
Yes, it is. Yeah. How do you rate Special K, Mike?
Special K with strawberries or without?
Yeah, with strawberries.
Now,
With berries, I'm there. But
Okay.
that's a wet cereal, Larry.
that's a wet cereal.
You got to hydrate the berries.
Okay, good call.
Fucking wet cereal. Okay, so for season 2, for season 1, Larry had come up with I just said, Larry, go nuts, come up with a bunch of movies you want to talk about, and that's what he did. Came up with a bunch of movies, and then we put the vote out to you, the listener, and the Twitter person, and all those people out there in the webs. You got to pick what we watched. Now, season 2, Lloyd actually came up with the idea that from 2001 to 2020. We would have one film from each year. So Larry went to picking and he picked. So the last roll came up and then the vote, and you people voted for the film from 2018. So actually not too long ago. It actually premiered January 19th of 2018. Came out at some festivals, Toronto International Film Festival in 2017, but this is a 2018 movie. We're talking about Mom and Dad. All right. Now we're obviously going to get into the cast list and talk a little bit more about this movie, but before you ever talk about a movie with the lead actor such as Mr. Nicolas Cage, I feel like since we got everybody here, I want to go around the horn real quick and I want to gauge your cage. I want to find out how you feel about Nicolas Cage, because there's no doubt about it that this guy is polarizing. He's known for being kind of out there. He was an A-list star for many years, won an Oscar, Best Actor for Leaving Las Vegas. And in the last 10 years or so, he's kind of gone the Bruce Willis route of direct to video features. But I think Cage is doing a better job of picking some interesting things. Bruce Willis just seems to be making the same movie over and over again, and nobody gives a fuck about him anymore. Cage, I think people have that idea in their head about him. But if you actually watch some of these movies, you might feel differently. So let's start with Larry, because it's Larry's show. Larry, how do you feel about Nicolas Cage? What do you think of Nicolas Cage?
I have always hated Nicolas Cage. His overacting, just the way he talks. I could never stand him. Peggy Sue Got Married can go fuck itself.
Valley Girls.
Face Off can fuck off. I can't stand that guy. That said, you just hit the nail on the head. The past few years, the roles he's picking really work with his sort of manic style of acting. From this movie to Mandy to Colorado Space, which I think is the best movie he's maybe ever done. And you still haven't watched it, even though I've been telling you to watch it for fucking 6 months. And every time I'm like, what are you doing, John? I'm watching Teen Wolf 2.
No.
Fucking Jason Bateman's getting in the ring.
He's never going to watch it, Larry.
I will watch it. Although I will admit.
Unless we shame him into it.
I'm already shamed. I will watch it, but I will admit, a couple weeks ago, me and my wife actually watched that Willy's Wonderland one he did, which certainly is not probably of the level of what you're talking about. It was one of those movies that when I got done with it, I had fun with it. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I probably should have never watched that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
It's okay.
I hear a lot of mixed. I hear a lot of mixed reactions to it.
It's a very strong okay.
Really, I've heard all negative.
I've heard some people who really enjoyed it. I don't know.
Who are you talking to?
No, really bad people, naughty people.
Apparently.
All right, so
I'm a corner.
So
Nicolas Cage himself.
Larry's not a fan, but he appreciates what he's been doing. Lloyd, are you in the side are you a Cage guy?
Yeah, I got a rage in the cage, I would say. Yeah, I've never really hated, Nicolas Cage like Larry does. I've liked him since one of my earlier favorites, Vampire's Kiss.
Oof.
And what was that other movie? Kiss of Death with David Caruso. He's done a lot of things, especially lately, like Larry said, that are very interesting choices, very bold. He's got a style. I like it.
Sean, are you a Cage maniac?
I don't know if I would call myself a Cage maniac. I am a fan. And Larry, you can go fuck yourself because I love Face Off.
Oh, it's fucking awful.
It's awful, but I don't care. That's what makes it great. I actually
want to take his face off.
Yeah. No more drugs for that man. In college, I actually wrote a paper on the Greek mythology and the symbolism in that movie, which is hysterical because it's so obvious. They're not even trying to hide it. That I don't know what I was thinking, but Casper and Troy, and you know, no, I am a fan. I do think Andy Samberg's impression of him on SNL and the Get in the Cage skits are fucking hilarious. He does it perfectly, and God, the three things that a movie needs: one, it exists. Two, I mean, come on, that's him to a T. The movie exists. Why aren't I in it? He's nailed it. He's nailed what he does.
All right, Sean's a fan. Mr. Simonetta, Officer Simonetta, if I may, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about the caginess?
I'm about half and half. There's some definite classics in there. Con Air, The Rock, Raising Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
I think The Color Out of Space is probably the best H.P. Lovecraft movie ever made. And he's scarily calm in that, which is very strange. But then there's other crap that's just insane because he was paying off his tax bills and other things. But
right.
You know, he's making a lot of weird choices. Leaving Las Vegas was actually amazing. I mean, he deserved to win for that. This was amusing, but overall, I don't love him. It's give or take. He is himself. He's one of those guys that are always kind of himself, no matter what he gets into. But he can be amusing for a little bit. Would
you have been happy, Mike, in a world where he was our Superman, or no?
No, I saw those tapes. They look terrible.
Only if he was wearing those biker shorts.
Oh my God! Even him younger and in a like that puffed up suit, it was awful.
Didn't work.
He looked strange. He looked really strange.
Yeah.
All right, so this is Mom and Dad. This was written and directed by a guy named Brian Taylor. Brian Taylor is probably better known as one half of the directorial duo of Neville Dean Taylor. These guys made movies that you either liked or you hated, I think is the best way to put it. Crank 1 and 2. I'm a Crank fan. I actually think Crank 2 is a really, really crazy, incredible, out there movie. Gamer, another one that I love. I've always liked a lot.
Gamer was good.
Out there again. They made the second Ghost Rider movie, which is garbage, but these guys had an incredible visual style, and that movie at the very least brought some of that with it. Now, the one super negative I will say about these guys, they did not direct it because they ended up, I think, doing another movie instead. They wrote Jonah Hex, and Jonah Hex just, it still hurts. That movie is one of the fucking all-time worst comic book adaptations ever. If you've never seen it, don't. If you want to hurt yourself, watch it. So those guys
were show Happy too.
Yes, so
based on that Grant Morrison book.
Brian Taylor, after these guys kind of broke apart, he directed and developed that show Happy with an exclamation point that was on Sci-Fi for a couple years with Christopher Maloney. It's based on a Grant Morrison book, which, by the way, for anybody that's not a comic fan out there that watched this, about halfway through the movie, there's a scene with a talking head, an expert talking head, a Scottish guy. That is Grant Morrison. He is a comic book writer known for New X-Men and the Authority and a bunch of other things. So yeah, I thought that was very weird. I'm like, is that fucking Grant Morrison? Why is Grant Morrison in this movie? And then he's not in it again. I'm like, oh, he must like be in with these guys somehow. To give him some credit, the other guy, Mark Neville Dean, I've never seen it, but since they broke apart, he made one movie, a horror movie called The Vatican Tapes. Guys, anything? No?
Nothing.
All right. So he's out there as well. A little bit more horror cred for the Pint of Horrors. The director of photography on this was Daniel Pearl. Daniel Pearl has a pretty decent, I guess you could say, history in horror. He was the cinematographer on the 1974 original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I find this crazy. I didn't realize this. He was the cinematographer on the 2003 remake. So they brought him back almost 30 years later to do the remake. He was also the cinematographer on the 2009 Friday the 13th, the reboot.
Yeah.
And this is the one that hurts. He was the cinematographer on a movie that I rewatched last summer for the first time since it came out, and it made my head hurt so fucking bad. Alien vs. Predator Requiem, which I only will recommend you watch this movie to see how not to make a movie. It is the darkest fucking movie of all time. I couldn't tell anything that was happening in this movie. So bad. Larry, I mean, right there, you got a pretty decent pedigree of horror, right?
Yeah. Except for that Alien versus Predator nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, coming from Texas Chainsaw Massacre and even the what was it? 03 remake wasn't bad at all. That was the Jessica Biel one, right?
Hell yes.
That was legit.
Yeah, always a fan. I'm a fan of her and the 03 remake. So yeah, it's got a little horror cred there, no doubt.
If I remember right, that is John's favorite Jessica Biel ever.
I've said it before. Very possibly. I could be wrong because I'd have to see more. I'd have to watch more movies, but she's in the contention for hottest chick in a movie ever in that movie.
Yeah.
Like Salma Hayek in From Dusk Till Dawn could be in contention for hottest chick in a movie ever for her part in From Dusk Till Dawn. And Jessica Biel is just the right amount of tight jeans and sweaty in that entire movie. She's just covered in fucking sweat. It never ends.
Well, it's Texas. What the fuck is that?
It's Texas. She's got a tighty whitey t-shirt, a tight white t-shirt on. She's in these tight jeans, and she just gets progressively fucking sweatier.
The guy from fucking Full Metal Jacket's chasing her around.
Yeah, Arlie Ermy. Yeah, a whole bunch of shit's going on there.
Yeah. Sounds like a future podcast.
We might do one.
Wasn't she in Jennifer's Body too, though?
No, that was Megan Fox.
Okay, scratch it.
Yep. Jessica Biel was in. She was in. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
She was.
Oh, there we go.
She
That's
was.
what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I knew it was.
Although I have, not to go on a tangent, I have heard that Jennifer's Body is one of those movies that got kind of slept on. I hear from a lot of people that that's a good movie. So at some point I'm going to check that out too. Okay, Manster, why don't you give us the cast list? Let's talk about who is in this thing.
Well, like we said, we got Nicolas Cage as Brent. He's dad. He does not want to be just dad, and I'm sure that's we'll talk about that. Then we have Selma Blair as Kendall. She's mom. She had her breakthrough, I guess, that movie Cruel Intentions, 1999.
I think she did. I think she had a breakthrough before that, but Cruel Intentions.
I know she did some stuff, but I think that was her
She's
first
done a lot
really
of stuff.
big one.
Yeah.
What I was wondering, and I don't want to break up the cast list here, but maybe somebody can answer it because I was too fucking lazy to look it up. Was this her last film before the multiple sclerosis?
Yeah, I think she's still doing stuff. I think she's still working, but I think this might have been before the diagnosis. Yeah, because she has been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. That's a fucking tough word. MS.
Yeah, and it's a fucking. I mean, I don't know that if they're all bad cases, but I mean, she can't even walk half the time, right?
Yeah.
Well, she's got roles since then.
How has she?
After We Collided, has a listing for it. So
okay.
She's probably best known to the layperson between either Cruel Intentions and Hellboy. She was Liz Sherman in the Hellboy, the Ron Perlman Hellboy movies.
She was great in Cruel Intentions, though.
I've never seen that.
That's a good movie. That's a good movie. I mean, you've got, listen, it's an annoying cast. You know, nobody wants to watch Ryan Phillippe. Nobody really wants to watch Sarah Michelle Gellar. No, you know, it's like if you can just put the cast aside and watch the movie for what it is, it's actually a really good movie. And right. Reese Witherspoon, who the fuck wants to watch Reese Witherspoon?
Yeah,
but it's a really good movie in spite of those three.
Reese Witherspoon sounds like a Ben and Jerry's flavor.
I'm surprised.
I guess it does.
She was in the remake of The Fog, which is
who? Reese Witherspoon?
No, Selma Blair.
No, Selma Blair.
Oh, was she? I didn't even know.
Terrible.
I don't think I knew there was a Fog remake.
Yeah, it stars Smallville. What's his name? Tom Welling.
Oh, that's bad. That's too bad.
Not good. All right, Manster. Who else we have?
Ann Winters as Carly. She's the daughter. She was in that Netflix show, 13 Reasons Why.
Oh, okay.
And she's also in the Orville.
She's going to be on the season 3, yeah.
Show. Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Season 3. Then we have Zachary Arthur as Josh. He's the son. He was in Grey's Anatomy. Oh. And Ray Donovan, a Showtime show. He's still young, young kid. Then we have Robert T. Cunningham as Damon. He's the boyfriend. Didn't find much on him.
No.
Olivia Crocicia as Riley.
Perfect. I think that pronunciation was probably perfect.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Good for me.
It's spelled like it sounds. Crow.
Then a lot of C's. A whole lot of C's. We have Lance Henriksen as Mel Ryan, the dad of Brent. And
dude, when he busts in,
awesome.
Yeah.
The movie went from like fucking just 10 to like 130. Like,
right.
Like I just remember the first time I saw it. I think I stood up in my own room. I was like, Lance Henriksen!
My wife goes, "Who is that guy?" I'm like, that's Bishop. She goes, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. Oh, so great.
Bishop plus 40, but yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
so
God,
yeah, Dog Day Afternoon, Close Encounters, The Right Stuff, Savage Dawn, Pumpkinhead. I
Literally
named all
everything.
his non-huge movies.
Powder.
Powder.
Millennium
Larry
too, right?
classic.
Yeah. Millennium. Sean
That
says
was a good. That was a good show.
That was a good show. Yeah. Then you have
Oh, wait. Stone Cold with fucking
Stone Cold.
with
Boz.
Brian Bosworth.
Yeah.
Lance Henriksen was in that too.
never saw
We
that.
got Joseph
What?
D.
Never saw Stone Cold. Stop the show right now.
We're gonna watch it.
All right.
We're gonna
We're
watch
switching. We're switching. We're gonna do a live reaction to Stone Cold.
Yeah, John, you strike me as a Bosworth guy too. That's
You
kinda
know, no,
surprising.
like I was super into
Viking mullet and everything. Come on.
super into the Boz in about 87 or 88, but yeah, I didn't go see Stone Cold. I don't know what I was thinking.
until Bo Jackson ran through him.
You know what it was yeah, exactly. And Into the Tunnel. It was the weekend that that movie came out. I got a ticket to see The Perfect Weapon with Jeff Speakman. So I just went the wrong way with my one hit action wonder.
Listen, that's another great fucking movie. I don't even care. I actually really enjoyed The Perfect Weapon. I don't know what happened to Jeff Speakman.
He works at the Home Depot.
Yeah, hanging out with Boz right now.
Yeah,
him and Boz have like a construction company. But all right, yeah, good talk, good action movie talk.
I think you guys will like this next one. Joseph D. Reitman as the homeroom teacher.
He's familiar.
He
Yeah,
was married to Shannon Elizabeth
yep.
in 2000, 2005. He played Kelly's boyfriend on Married with Children. He was in Clueless, Clay Pigeons, American Pie 2, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. He's in a lot of stuff.
Yep.
American Pie 2.
And apparently he's been inside of Shannon Elizabeth too.
Yeah, he's been in that.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, which is that's a treat. Right
Well,
there.
2000 to 2005, that's prime Shannon Elizabeth too.
Yeah.
You know, 2021 Shannon Elizabeth might not be there anymore. I don't know.
No, she's didn't you watch the last Jay and Silent Bob? She's still
Oh, don't worry me. Yeah, I did.
John hated that fucking movie.
You hated it really.
Fucking terrible.
It is a bit I don't even know how
Shitty.
to describe it, but yeah, it's not
it's
not
not
wonderful, but it had just enough in it that I'm okay with it.
Yeah, same. It's just
Did it?
listen, it was
Or
all the same.
did
No,
you-
I liked it.
Shouldn't they have stopped 3 movies back? Jesus.
No,
I never cared for any of them. So.
it was literally all the same jokes again.
Yeah. Look, it's either that or Mallrats 2. I mean, which one do you want made?
I would prefer Mallrats too, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I probably would too.
I felt like, and I'm not, and again, look, Kevin Smith obviously has gone on to be a very popular man, and he has a million fans. So who am I? But I just felt like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, the one from 20 years ago, was like a really good greatest hits movie, and this one was fan service the movie, like literally fan service the movie. And if you're a fan, as I was years ago, maybe it would have hit me in a different way. But like, I kind of got mad at Kevin Smith when I never saw Tusk, but when he made like Red State, I'm like, I'm interested in this guy again. Like he's starting to do things that are different, and then he immediately goes back to like making like yoga hosers and bullshit like that.
Oh, that was bad.
Kevin Smith has jumped a shark for me a long time ago.
You would like Tusk. Tusk was good, but it's not like Red State at all.
Well, Tusk is actually on our list, so it might end up popping up here, I think, somewhere.
Yeah. Tusk is good. Red State was great. Red State was awesome. But yeah, he goes back to that well once in a while of those comfortable characters. I think he's doing a Clerks 3 right now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's either doing Clerks 3 or Mallrats 2 again. Or Mallrats is a
Clerks
TV
3.
show. It's Clerks 3? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, man. So let's finish up this cast list and get on the
All
mom.
right, a couple more. One we already mentioned, Grant Morrison, MBE. Do you know what that is?
Master of the British
title.
Empire.
Close. Most Excellent Order of the British Empire.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep. And then you have Dr. Oz as himself.
Yeah, that was weird.
And there's a whole slew of uncredited appearances. And at one point in the movie, I could have sworn I saw Dave Chappelle, but I don't think it was him. It was that guy that looks just like him.
It was Bokeem Woodbine.
Yeah, and he's not even. He doesn't even appear anywhere. So.
Bokeem Woodbine is a great character actor.
Yep.
And his scene was great because he's great, and because you got the sense that like they're interviewing him while he had just killed his kid. The way he's describing, he's like, I just did it. Like, yeah. Okay. So, all right, that's the cast list, Manster.
That's it.
All right. Do we have any budget information on this? I'm just curious.
I do.
All right. What do we got?
We got $4 million budget and a $165,000 box office.
All right.
Little discrepancy there.
Little discrepancy for sure. All right, Sean, bumper sticker this for us. What is this movie about?
You always put me on a spot like this. Let's see. Parents have joint midlife crisis everywhere. Turn on kids because they feel it's their fault. That's a little long for a bumper sticker. Now that I think about it,
It's like the length of the bumper. It's like,
it's fine. No. Parents hate their lives, start murdering children.
All right. That is what this is about. Now,
even infants.
Yeah, we'll get to that. That fucking scene, man. That scene stressed me the fuck out bad. I got to be honest. It stressed me out bad. And I'm not a parent. It stressed me out bad. So let's start right off the bat. So the movie essentially starts off. Yep, Lloyd, go ahead.
Before we go, can we say for the audience who in here is a parent? Who's a mom and dad?
Larry, Sean, Lloyd.
Larry, Sean, and Lloyd. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Me and Simonette are no ties.
We don't care. Really,
no ties, man.
Go kill your kids. Whatever.
Cats and dogs. Cats and dogs. You guys are cats and dogs, man.
Although in this scenario, we would be the heroes because we would be the ones
trying to stop the fuck.
It would be pretty easy to be a hero in this situation because if you paid attention, the aggressors never tried to hurt anybody else. So you could pull someone off of someone, and if you could restrain them, you're a hero because they're not going to fight you back.
That's right.
So me and Mike would be the heroes of the story.
We'd be driving down the street like
taking them down.
What are these motherfuckers doing?
The only exception was the boyfriend Nicolas Cage went after. He was pissed at him
because he was in their way, I guess.
Which is odd because like a paternal, I guess we're getting ahead of, but like a paternal instinct kicked in, like he's here for my daughter.
Because I think,
but so am I. If you think about it,
I think there's a little racism there.
There's a lot.
Yeah, I'm being a little,
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Well, let's go right off the bat before we start digging into the movie itself. One of the notes I wrote down was the Cage character seems to be as bad a dad as Blair seems to be as good a mom. Like she seems to be, to me, a genuinely caring person who loves her kids and is having some kind of midlife crisis. And Cage seems to be kind of this again, I think there's some racist undertones there. I think one of the things that really highlights kind of how bad this dude is in the very first scene, we see a mother pull her car up to a railway crossing with her infant in the backseat. She gets out of the car and walks away. Now, this is a movie that starts, what is that called? In media res, where it's like the action is happening right off the bat. Pulls up to that, gets out of the vehicle, and her kid gets killed in a train crash. A couple minutes later, we get introduced to the family, the rebellious daughter that's dating this kid who happens to be a black kid, the young son, and then Nicolas Cage, who's just seems to be this kind of business guy, and Selma Blair, who just seems to be kind of they seem like they probably are a little well-to-do. It's a nice house. They've got a housekeeper, and the housekeeper's kid is helping out. But
they're in the perfect little cookie cutter poltergeist neighborhood. Yeah. Every house is that's what I thought of as soon as they did the flyover. I'm like, look at this. It's like fucking poltergeist. Where's the kids controlling the RC cars, knocking the guy off the bike?
But yeah, I thought of that too. I thought this looks like poltergeist almost. So, but what I was going to say about where you get off on him right away is they see a TV report or hear a radio report of this infant being killed, and he makes an extremely crass fucking joke to his son with I don't remember a toy truck and another thing, and he crashes it and splurts ketchup all over the table, making fun of that. So right off the bat, you're like, this guy might not be the fucking actual really nice guy we're hoping he's going to be. I mean, did you guys feel the same way? I was like, fuck this guy for that.
It was a weird intro. And then there was that, because he was play fighting, and then there was that weird second where he was almost really gonna kill him.
Yeah.
And he's like,
you mean the tickling scene?
Yeah.
Because tickling is the way that a parent can torture their child without actually feeling guilty. Just so you know.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I didn't.
Let us in on your parental secrets, everybody.
I don't know that I would say I think he's a bad dad. I would say I think he doesn't know how to be a dad. He doesn't seem like he's obviously going through some shit. He describes it all perfectly in that monologue in the basement. But I think that they don't really go into it, but maybe she got pregnant and he wasn't ready for kids. I don't think he's cut out to be a dad. He doesn't really know what he's doing.
Well, I think he's Arrested Development, like Sean, right? I mean, one of the first scenes you see with this guy, he's daydreaming about what?
About spinning out in that, what is it, a Thunderbird or whatever that it's a sports car is.
Yeah.
The Firebird spinning out with big boobs in his face, just laughing it up, and that right there shows that he's not a good because this is what he's daydreaming about. This is kind of his motivation and what makes him hate his own life, and he hasn't come to grips with that. So you can't possibly be a good parent when you haven't come to grips with being a parent to begin with.
Right,
and laughing with your own young son about another kid being killed like that just proves the point.
So yeah, I don't think that he's I don't think he's a how can I say it? It's just that he's never given himself a chance to be a parent. I don't think he's ever wanted to be a parent. He doesn't seem like the kind of person who ever wanted to be a parent.
He makes it a point repeatedly, like you said, in the monologue in the basement. At one point, when he's talking to the daughter about he knows she's going to go out with the boyfriend that night, he says, "I was a 17-year-old boy too," and he goes, "And it wasn't that long ago." But it was long ago. It's just that you're not letting go of that. Like you're easily 45, that's 30 years ago, dude. I'm in the same position. And when I think of myself at 17 years old, I don't go, "Oh, that wasn't that long ago." I go, "Fuck, that was a long fucking time ago. I would love to be 17 again, but I don't think of it like, "Oh man, it feels like it was 2 years ago." No, that shit was forever ago. I don't even remember that shit anymore.
I was gonna say, I barely remember a lot of it.
It's funny. I guess it's what you've gone through in that time, but I was completely kind of agreeing with Nicolas Cage as he's making that monologue, and not in a bad way. Just you think about like, well, I had my freedom, I used to do this and that, and I'm like, what? Didn't seem like that was that long ago, but literally it was 20 years ago.
Well, if you want to talk about that monologue for a second, what he said, Sean, you just said it yourself, and I'll say it too.
Well, hold on, Larry. Before you say that,
far ahead.
Well, we could jump far. We could jump there and go back again, because I think that those parts of the movie don't really matter in the context necessarily of linearness. But why don't you set up, Larry, the scene and what happens in that scene first? Because I think it's important.
Yeah. Well, he's in the basement, which you can tell that. He's in the process of framing out an extra room, and in that framed room, before putting up any drywall or anything, he decides to start building a pool table. Usually you do these things in stages, like actually build the room first before you bring in the fucking gaming. But whatever. So he's building the fucking pool table with his Misfits shirt on, listening to Reagan Youth, which, as a punk rock guy, fucking makes me very happy. Selma Blair comes downstairs out of nowhere, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he just immediately flips on her. Like, there's no discussion. She's being kind of accusatory. She's like, "Well, when were you going to tell me about this?" You could just tell that they don't really have a great relationship. This isn't a discussion. This is more of a her, I caught you. And him immediately, instead of saying, "Sorry, I should have talked to you first," just as like, "You know what, basically, fuck you, fuck this. I remember being a kid, and it was not that long ago, like you said, and I had life by the balls and do whatever the fuck I wanted." And he's like, what's wrong with a little game room? And she's like, "Well, the whole fucking house is a game room." And he goes, and this is the part I was about to agree with, because I feel like this sometimes, and I think a lot of dads do. It's like, well, maybe some parts of the house should be for the kids and some parts should be for the adults. Sometimes, especially when the kids are young, like Josh is in this movie, it gets tough. You're trying to watch something and kids are running around in your face, and you want to kind of retreat to your own little section of the world, like I've got down here. So, I see where he's coming from with that, but it's the way that they're going about it.
What set him off was man cave. Sorry to interrupt.
Man cave. No, that's fine.
She says man cave. It sets him off. Like, I can't even have, like, he hates the term, but he's like, I can't even have my own space. And not too long ago, like you said, I had the world by the balls. I could have done anything. I could go anywhere. I could, and now it's like, I want this little area down here no one else cares about, and I'm not even allowed to have that.
But there were two weird parts in that monologue.
Kids' toys and break my skull.
Yeah, that was the constant setup through the whole movie. So through the whole movie, there's that little yellow truck just waiting for him to step on it. But there were two weird parts in that monologue. One, he says, "I was making $100,000, and now I'm making 45." So I'm like, wait a minute. when you were 18, when you're making $100,000.
I don't know. I think
in his adult life, he must have had he must have lost a job and had to settle for being machine parts.
So I took it that's a part, an underlying part to all the tension,
right?
Is that he had a great job, which is why they've got that great house, and now he's stuck with this fucking gigantic mortgage with half the salary that he had before, and his wife doesn't work, so it's all on him. So he's lost that job, all the pressures of being the only breadwinner in the house. Plus, he can't go anywhere without stepping on one of Josh's fucking toys.
I think his monologue was several different levels of him being neutered.
Yeah.
And one of them was I used to make $145,000 a year, and now I make 45. I'm just always being neutered.
The other weird part of that was her reaction, because if somebody does that whole monologue, you would easily say, well, fuck you, because I'm doing, I'm here too. Right. But she doesn't. She's like, oh, I get it. That's sad for you.
Well,
like, what?
Well, I think she does get it.
Her own reasons too.
No, I know she has her own, but
I felt I connected to that whole scene so much. You guys, I'm not even hearing what you guys are saying, because I connected with what he said, and my wife connected with what his wife said, and it felt very true to us. I mean, and that was obviously the heart and soul of the movie. I mean, that's
it is, and the best line in that whole thing, I think, in that whole scene, that's not part of the the monologue per se, is at the end when he says, I used to be Brent and you used to be Kendall.
Exactly.
Now we're just mom and dad.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a parent. I felt that because suddenly, you guys that are husbands and wives and fathers and mothers, you suddenly get this other job that's not nobody's job is your identity. My job's not my identity. Larry's isn't but when you become a parent, that becomes part of your identity. And in a way, it can supplant your identity. And I think that's what he's feeling.
I think my wife and I have had almost the exact same words. We used to be Lloyd and Jordan, and now we're just mom and dad.
All right. Well, hopefully you're not going to try to kill your kids.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
Lloyd's dreaming right now about boobs in his face.
Settle the fuck down, Lloyd.
No, I know why this guy made this movie. I know exactly why he made it.
John,
Lloyd's like, what a great fucking idea.
I want to ask Sean a question real quick. Sean, in any situation in your life, whether it be, a parental thing or a fight with the wife or anything like that, have you ever destroyed something like he destroyed that pool table? Have you ever had that? Because I've done it. I've had that fit of rage where I've destroyed something that I didn't want to destroy. Have you ever been there?
I have put my fist through drywall.
Yeah.
I've never destroyed something to that. I took my my iPhone earbuds, the corded kind, because they kept getting caught in things, and in a fit of rage whipped them into the wall and they shattered, and I regretted that because I had to order a new pair.
These are expensive,
but they could be. I got the cheap kind, but no, he fucking that thing was a pile of ash when he was done with it. Bravo.
I've never gone to that extreme.
It's
I think that's a personality thing. I don't destroy things. I know somebody who does.
Yeah. When I was younger, I used to hit a lot of shit. I used to punch a lot of things, but I don't think I ever destroyed something to that. I've destroyed a lot of remote controls, and Jen will tell you that. I'm just like, motherfucking. I love watching them just fucking explode into batteries and buttons, and then calling up fucking Comcast and being like, my remote broke. You guys need to send a new one. But other than that,
it accidentally broke.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'll send, and then they get it back, and it's just 85 parts in a box. Fuck.
Do you guys like the fact now? Just getting back to the beginning. So now. What ends up happening is we start seeing mass amounts of parents just going fucking apeshit crazy and only attempting to kill their kid. There's a scene in the high school where the daughter, it's almost like Red Dawn, except it's not the Russians, it's the parents.
Yep.
The daughter sees all these parents coming to the...
I wish they parachuted in, though.
Yeah.
That's great.
The daughter sees all these parents coming to the gates, and the homeroom phone keeps ringing, and the guy has to keep dismissing people because their parents are calling them down to the office. And we get to see the first like real actual kill is one of these little kids. He's a younger kid, jumps over the fence to be with his mom, and she fucking stabs him to death with her keys. Okay.
You know, one other thing before we say too much, there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of killing, but you don't see any of it. You don't actually ever see any violence. You just see the key up in the air. You see things like that.
You see the blood.
At the end, you see some. You see some kills.
Yeah. You do it at the very end.
The parents, you see that, but you don't see children.
Yeah, no. Well, I think that's a line they had to balance. It's like, okay, this movie's about, you know, when I'd first heard of this movie, which I'd heard of this movie a couple years ago, I didn't realize it was a mass thing, and I didn't realize it was like whatever it may be, supernatural or whatever. I thought it was just Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair trying to kill their kids. I didn't realize it was like this fucking. It was like Stephen King book Cell.
Yeah,
some
kind of static signal or something.
Or the happening for the parent set.
Exactly. Yeah.
Set.
What? No, that's me doing Mark and Mark from The Happening.
Spot on.
So yeah, we start seeing these parents like going after their kids, really hardcore. Do you guys like the fact that what is happening is never explained? Lloyd, do you like that or no?
So yeah, I like that. We don't need to know why that happened. Just know that it happened.
I think it wasn't explained, like, you know, it didn't switch to like some newscast with a guy explaining exactly why this happened, but there was, like, if you were listening on the radio, there was like bits and pieces where they said something about radio signals causing a virus, etc. There was little bits.
Well, but I mean, there's also things like Dr. Oz talking about that whole savaging phenomenon.
Right.
So it's like, I think they're talking about what might have been. Mike, did you like the fact that they didn't necessarily say, okay, like the original Night of the Living Dead? They don't tell you, you know, they do mention that satellite or whatever, or the asteroid, but they don't ever tell you that's it. Do you prefer stuff like that in movies like this?
Yeah, I think that's probably the one, you know, this movie's pretty in your face, and that's with the one subtle part to it that you don't know why. Like, you don't know why are all these people at the gates, you know, of the school and things like that at first. And
I love that scene though.
What was weird to that though, for me looking back, is the boyfriend leaves his SATs and all the parents are there like waiting to kill kids, but they don't go in the door. They let him like leave and shut the door, but they don't run in. So that was a little weird. But yeah, I thought it was nice. And I think you get a couple of hints like Larry's saying. And there's also several times people are either listening to the static on the radio or before they snap, you hear a little like, you know, in the sound.
Well, you hear that tinnitus type of sound.
Yeah, and in the hospital after the sister with the baby, one of the monitors emits that sound, and you see Selma Blair's eyes kind of like
for just a second, she like sort of loses focus.
Oh my Lord, there's not a lot of scenes in movies that actually make me cringe, but I'll tell you, I'm seeing where we're going with this movie. It's a movie, you know, it's movie trickery. When he puts the Tonka truck down in the beginning, you know that's going to come into play later. Yeah. So now that you know what this movie's about, and she keeps talking about her sister having a baby, my wife watched this movie with me. She never watches movies with me. She actually watched this one with me, and I looked at her and I said, she's going to kill that baby after it comes out, and I don't want to watch that. And I'm like, hope it happens. It's off camera, and she gets a call, and your sister just did something horrible. No. We go to the hospital with Selma Blair, where she's there along with the boyfriend, and he's videotaping, and it's this nice birth and everything. And the baby's born and everything's okay because apparently nobody's been touched by this static, let's say. The monitor goes off and everybody kind of takes a second and snaps out of it. And immediately the sister begins to fucking put this beautiful infant in a fucking bear hug. Sean, were you like, I don't know, man, this scene, I was turning my head because I didn't want to see where we were going with it. Sean, do you feel the same way? Were you having a hard time watching this part?
Yeah, this was my second viewing. I did watch it a couple years ago, and I knew it was going to happen, and still it's rough to watch because it happens so slowly. Like, her grasp just becomes tighter and tighter, so everyone's laughing and you know, everyone's happy, and then they're like, wait, what are you doing? What, you know, it's rough to freaking watch because it's such a slow burn, you know, and it really, it affects me for sure. I knew it was coming, but it's still pretty horrific.
But thankfully, she doesn't kill the baby.
She does not.
Right. Spoiler alert.
Oh, we're all spoilers here. But one of the things I like about that scene as well is, and Lloyd, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but like, it really goes to show you the tenacity that these people are going to be with killing their kids.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
this woman just got split open and she is not stopping. Nothing is going to stop her.
They take the baby. Kendall takes the baby away from her and cowers in the corner. And the mother just gets right up out of the hospital bed, umbilical cord hanging out of her crotch, and just goes right over to her until somebody finally restrains her.
And she gets away from them like several times.
Yeah.
Like she gets out.
Yeah, she's tenacious.
She wants that child. She wants that child. And the nurse and doctor find Kendall and convince her to give up the baby. And that's another scene I love.
And it was the next scene that was really.
I love that scene when they show the inside of the nursery, and then they pan up to the window, and you just see all the parents staring in at the fucking infants.
All the fathers.
Oh yeah, you're like, holy shit!
Brand new fathers.
Then they pan outside the window, and you see the last or the first person in line, and he's just got this look like he's just ready to go, like he's a bull kicking his feet.
But what I like is they all look crazy, but they're also all calm.
Yeah,
like even when they're outside the school. I mean, some of them are calling to their kids and everything, but until the kids come out, they're just standing there, like just waiting patiently waiting until they actually see that kid. And then it's like a switch, and they're like, come on. Come. I'm going to take you home. I just got to take you home. You're my baby.
Take you home with my fucking keys in between my knuckles, motherfucker.
Holy fuck.
Hey, how about that 300 plus pound guy, like a bull catching up with that little kid.
Oh yeah,
on the freaking the football field.
Yeah,
like that dude ran a
dude ran a 4.40 when he was in high school. When he was in high school, that dude was like
80 pounds later, he could still bring it.
He was bringing it. That dude was like fucking Marshawn Lynch.
Beast mode,
open field tackle.
He was all hopped up on Skittles, killing his kids. What about the dude like sentry guarding his neighborhood with the baseball bat covered in blood?
Baseball bat guy.
Yeah,
that guy was sick.
I liked the idea in this movie that like nobody is teaming up to kill other people's kids. It is literally just like, you're my kid, you're fucking dead.
Right.
And as soon as you're dead, if you're my only kid, then maybe I'm not back to normal, but I'm done. It's over.
Damon knew that because when he was with Carly, they were making their way through the neighborhood, and she was afraid of that guy.
Yep.
And he's like, no, he doesn't want you. Don't worry about him. He's not dangerous.
Well,
it's one of the things that for me makes this movie super interesting is that it's not, your typical fucking zombie apocalypse. It's not the beginning of the Dawn of the Dead remake where everybody's just running down the fucking street fighting everybody they fucking find. This is just laser focused on my kid. If you're not my kid, no big fucking deal. Just keep, they're not dangerous to anybody else. It's very strange, and I thought a really, really cool idea.
Yeah. Mike, I want to jump back out of story to the beginning of the movie and ask you, what did you think of what I thought were those rad ass 1970s TV show credits?
Love it.
I mean, I thought the whole look and feel was good. I think some of it goes with the guys that made Crank. Some of the camera work was a little over the top, but over the look and the feel, I liked it a lot.
That intro, the one you're talking about, you know what that the song was playing during that little vignette in the intro? It was perfect. It's just a perfect choice. It was "I Was Young" by Dusty Springfield.
It goes along.
Lots of great music. The choice of songs and the scenes that they went with was really great in this movie.
Going back to the intro again. So I want to see who's with me on this one. While that's playing and the song is playing, okay, and it's like a 70s movie or sitcom kind of graphics and everything. All I could think about now, if you're a kid in the 70s or grew up and watched Cinemax in the 80s, these are the beginnings of the Emmanuel movies. The music, everything about the scenes, the cuts. Emmanuel in space, Emmanuel in Rio de Janeiro. Man, this is it. This is freaking. And none of you were with me. I don't know how I feel about that.
No.
Sean is all about the Skinamax, everybody.
I guess so.
It's 11 o'clock at night, and he's alone.
Sean, I want you to feel comfortable. And by what I mean by that is I will tell you that I masturbated to plenty of Cinemax in my day. But I never saw any of the Emmanuel movies.
I was never really masturbated.
I was more of a guy that would snap it off to like the occasional titties and Dream On, you know, like you
Dream On,
or you know, or
did you pause the Phoebe Cates and Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
you pause that, you know, get a sock, crunch it up a little bit, Red Shoe Diaries. But I do remember like always hearing about Emmanuel. So you've again piqued my interest. Maybe I'll have to subscribe to Cinemax immediately.
Everywhere she went, just banged everybody.
I think Vinegar Syndrome just put them out. I think they just put them all out. So
trip to the archive. Let's buy the 10 disc set and see how far I can get.
I bought the Angel set. So
that's gonna be Sean's man cave argument. 17 years ago, I'm watching Emmanuel in my basement, loving it. Now I gotta do this shit.
He's gonna have a fucking his own man cave with posters, Emmanuel posters.
Every single one.
Wait, I gotta write this down. Hold on.
Take the screen down. We know it's there.
I like the fact that like there was apparently an Emmanuel in space.
Manual in space. Yes.
Oh shit.
Manuel in space.
All right. All right.
That was up for an Oscar, actually. A few people know that.
It was up for a Palme d'Or. Here's a scene that I want to ask you guys about a character choice. So Selma Blair gets the blink while she's at the hospital. So obviously she now has the desire. But as she's driving home, she listens to a news broadcast that specifically says, you're going to want to see your kids.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to protect them. Do not. She pulls up to the front of the house and she seems to have an internal argument with herself about going in or not. What do you think that it was just too strong? Or do you think her urge to kill them was too strong? Or do you think that she was still in enough control that she thought I can help them?
I think that the fucking buzz gets you, but it doesn't do anything to you until you see your kid.
See them, you make that visual contact.
That whole drive home, she's thinking about protecting Josh. Even though she's already been fucking zapped, she's like, I got to protect my son. And like you said at the beginning, she's a good mom. She's loving, she's caring, and all loving moms are protective of their kids. So she hears what this guy says on the radio, and she's like, no, she's in there right now with Crazy Asian Maid. I gotta go fucking make sure that Josh is okay.
Crazy Asian
Maid went all
Chinese. Chinese is not the Charlie.
Yeah.
That was a great part.
So good.
That lady fucking used a meat tenderizer.
Yeah.
Like to you didn't see her kill her kid, but
you
like,
heard it though. You heard. I think you heard it.
Yeah.
I think they
you see it in shadow, or at least Josh sees it, or in shadow.
Josh sees it in shadow, and then just that great scene where the daughter comes home with the boyfriend, and she's just fervently mopping the floor that's just covered in blood, like absolutely covered in blood.
Yeah, she picks that mop up to wring it out, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Didn't Cage fucking drop a racist word about her at some point at the beginning? I think he did.
I think other than the Charlie. Oh no, that was the daughter.
I don't remember. The daughter said the Charlie quote in conjunction with what and that was a great that's a great little foreshadowing moment.
There were so many great family scenes in that, because it felt just so true to life, the way a family, interacts with each other.
As soon as the movie comes towards the end and you realize that the grandparents are coming for dinner, and I went right back to that scene because she said that the first thing the grandfather always talks about is how he killed so many Charlies over in Nam.
Right.
And he stabbed him up. And I'm like, he's going to stab the fuck out of Nicolas Cage.
Now, did you see, because for some reason, I remember clearly the first time I watched it and the doorbell rang or they knocked on the door, whatever it was. And Cage and Selma Blair looked at each other and they were like, fuck, your parents are here. Did not dawn on me that they're parents.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, fuck, they're going to be like, they're nervous because they're going to see that they're trying to kill their grandkids. Like, did not dawn on me that because they're parents, they're going to come in fucking stabbing. Like,
that's funny, because I remember the grandparent comment, and so I was sort of expecting them the whole time. Like, when are the grandparents going to show up to kill the parents?
Yep.
It was so great when it was Lance Henriksen.
Well, who better to get killed by?
Mikey.
He came right, and it was great too. He just comes right in, wham.
Starts it right up. Yeah.
Mother pepper sprays. He's gutting them.
Look, honestly, so that scene, and we're jumping a little bit ahead, but that's fine. That scene where the grandparents come in and start fucking shit up, Hendrickson immediately starts stabbing Nicolas Cage. He's like pig sticking him, like hurting him. He's not like going for the kill shot yet. He's like trying to hurt him. The mother spray, like this is all maces him in the eyes. So this is all bad. They're leaving Kendall alone, but Kendall tries to jump in to protect Nicolas Cage. And the most hurtful comment in the whole thing is when the grandmother says, "Kendall's not even a real name." I laughed so fucking hard at that. That line was fucking great. There
is a whole lot of good lines in this movie.
Yeah. This is, and you know the crazy thing about this movie, it didn't certainly feel over long. It's an hour and 23 minutes long. This is a short fucking movie, but because they start immediately off and you get a lot, they're really right in there. So, Mike, I have a question for you.
Yes.
We get scenes in this movie, and I'm not going to call them superfluous because I like them, but we do get scenes like we talked about with the monologue in the basement, and we get to see like the fact that these two people are broken and beaten, and you know their marriage is on the ends. We see the scene where Nicolas Cage, who apparently has the greatest job in the world because A, he can nap, and B, he can watch porn, is just like he's checked out at work. We get scenes like that. We get the scene where we see him kind of have the interaction with the son about hiding the dead, whatever it was in the vehicle. We get
that was a weird scene.
That was a weird scene.
I didn't understand it.
I didn't fully either, but I think it was
tried to save an animal that the birds were pecking apart.
Yeah.
That wasn't quite dead yet.
And then he
figured he could feed it Fruit Loops.
But why did he put it in his dad's fucking
he was going to hide it, and then like the door opened. He was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
and he just dropped it in.
Oh, okay.
So these scenes all kind of tell a story about a family, okay? But what I wanted to ask you is, because this movie revolves around the notion that it doesn't matter who the family is, this is going to happen. Do those scenes even matter to the movie? Do you think that they added to it, or do you think that they didn't need to be in there at all?
I think they added to it, but you had to like the core family. Like, you had to like the kids a little. You had to like, feel for, because they, for a little bit there, they're actually trying to sell, we talk about the monologue where Nick flips out, but there's also when Selma Blair's like at the yoga studio, and she's talking about feeling old compared to the 20-year-olds in there. Yeah. So I think they're kind of, and then she's having an argument too, like with, hey, she's driving the daughter to high school or to school, and she's like, this is the time we can talk, but you're just on your phone the whole time. And I think they're, those, and I don't actually have the children, neither do you, but as Lloyd said, these are things. These are things that are real,
real things. Because the conversation you're referring to is in the car with Kendall and her daughter, and she's saying stuff like, we used to be best friends, and now you don't talk to me anymore. And they keep going back and forth, and she's like, "God, Mom, it's not my fault. You have no life."
Yeah.
Yeah. But it fucking is.
It is.
It is.
Yeah. She gave up everything for you and your brother.
These are all things to support. I'm not saying, obviously, to kill your kids. I mean, this is a movie made up. But these are just showing background things to support the idea of this.
See, it's funny because
it's not so out of the blue. That's what I mean.
What I thought of when she said that is, it's not my fault. You don't have a life. Is literally stop blaming me because you made the decision to have me. So I understand, like, you have kids now, so you can't do what you want to do, but don't project your shit on me. You created me. Well, it's not my fault.
When the kids are young, there are people who actually are trying to be best friends with them, parents. I know this for a fact. And then when they're no longer that age, and they're beyond that, and they're in their 20s, they're not the best friend anymore. And it's very depressing for the parent to have that not exist anymore.
We're gonna get a staff psychiatrist on
very rough
line to talk to Lloyd. I think Lloyd needs a minute.
No, it's not me.
My kids don't even like me. Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Yeah, you want to see the text between my son and me.
Hey, look, I saw the picture on Facebook of Sean dragging his kid to Mystic. That kid did not want to be there. All right.
Oh no.
All right.
Oh, Ryan was not.
I'm pretty sure you were a bastard that day, Sean. How dare you take me to teach me about manatees, Dad? fuck you.
Yeah, he was not having it.
So Larry, do you think then that all those little bookend scenes we get of the family that are kind of like not linear, they're not, they're outside of time, they're taking place before or long before. Do you think those are to set up the fact that we want to see these people get back together and live? We don't want to see them kill each other.
Well, you gotta give them some substance in order to care about them, right? If you don't build up a character, why are you going to care? Watch a Rob Zombie movie. The guy doesn't know how to build a fucking character, so you don't give a shit who gets fucking killed. And that's what you got to do. You got to give some story. You got to feel for these people as humans in some way. And that story is necessary. It's necessary, or otherwise you're just going to be like, fuck it, kill them all. And
you can't say it's too superfluous, because like you said, it's a very short movie. So right. I mean, those are quick takeaways.
Yeah, right. And I think it's a credit to the director, editor, or writers, whoever. The writer is actually also Brian Taylor, the director. That they were able to get all that stuff, including 50 minutes of a mass murder. In this, I think this movie. I almost, I don't want to buff shine it too much or suck its dick too long, but I think like a lot of movies could look at this movie at 1 hour and 23 minutes and go, wow, man, they really got like all the stuff you needed in there. Although I want to get to the end real quick, because I think that might be the point. For me, I might have had a sticking point with that. So essentially we get the whole ending of the movie is this onslaught of Kendall and Brent on the kids, and they trap them in the basement and they blow themselves up because the daughter.
Don't forget, John. Sawzall.
It
means it's Sawzall.
It's like a commercial. For Sawzall. Hey guys.
Yeah.
Sawzall.
And I love when she brought it out, and she thinks she's just gonna easily cut right through.
It's
that
just like
that's not gonna work. She's like, yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's bending. I also like the fact that they're trying to break the door down, and then all of a sudden Selma Blair's character gets shot because the daughter has a gun, and they go to the moment where it's like, I didn't know you had a gun, and he's like, yeah, I have it locked up under the bed. What's the combination? Josh's birthday, and then immediately you go to the flashback of the kid finding the gun.
That was something. That was a scene.
I will admit, I was like, even though the kid's alive, the scene where he's playing with the gun, I'm like, this is like 90210 all over again. I don't need to see this shit.
But you know what was interesting about that scene?
Yeah,
she's like, do you know how many kids die every year from finding guns in the house? You're trying to kill them right now.
Yeah.
Like, what do you fucking care? Like,
she's so going
weird.
back to his midlife crisis.
They still have their wits about them as far as real life.
Yeah, it's so strange.
That's bizarre. The part I love the most, when she was like, how big is your midlife crisis that you bought a gun to?
Yeah. Is that what she said, or did she say you're checking all the boxes off?
Yeah, checking all the boxes.
Yeah. He said, hey, if someone breaks in here, how am I going to protect you guys?
Yeah. So the whole last 20 minutes is this bit where the boyfriend keeps on almost dying but not dying. He saves the day multiple times. Full on onslaught. They got the kids trapped in the basement. She gets shot. They go to gas them out. The daughter turns MacGyver and blows them up. And then Lance Henriksen and as the grandfather and the grandmother come over, start fucking up Nicolas Cage. They end up getting killed. Nicolas Cage ends up like killing them on the car, hits his mother. So it all comes down to this like huge scene of them like fighting against each other. And you get at the end where Selma Blair is about to take out the daughter, and the boyfriend knocks out Selma Blair, right? That's how he knocks her out.
Yeah.
And they wake up. I'm sorry, go ahead, Lloyd.
I was just gonna say he was like sort of revived by the explosion from the gas explosion from the basement.
Right, because Nicolas Cage fucking face planted him.
He fucking laid him out.
He did like a fucking WWF like forward DDT. I've never seen that before. But he grabbed him by the back of the head and like suplexed him straight down into the ground, knocks him out. The explosion wakes him back up. They end up tying them up in the man cave right near the destroyed, pool table, because it's all got to tie together.
Yep.
So this is the part of the movie that I want to ask. I'm going to go each one of you. The movie is ending where Nicolas Cage's character and Selma Blair's character are telling the kids that they're sorry, but we love you guys. but sometimes I just want to, and the movie fucking ends, right?
Yeah.
And the line is sometimes I just want to kill you, which can be taken on two different levels.
Fucking kill you.
I
think that's the real
the regular level we all have, which any parent might have, or a husband might have against a wife is like, man, I love you, but sometimes I fucking want to kill you. We've all had that. Also, he's literally saying, I want to fucking kill you. So much like we talked about earlier, where we don't know what caused this. This is a movie where we don't know what happens at the end. And I made a note where 22-year-old John, 25-year-old John would have loved this ending, because I always love movies that ended like ambiguously. 45-year-old John is not so much of the same like feel. Like, I wanted for one of two things to happen. I wanted either like a new signal to come out and everybody chills out, and then maybe like Shaun of the Dead, we get a 6 months later thing and they kind of describe what happened and everybody's either happy, or maybe even they're divorced, like, go further with where they're at in their lives. But instead we get nothing. Lloyd, do you like this ending, or did the ending make you a little mad?
No, it did not make me mad. I think this ending was perfect. You know exactly what he was going to say. You don't know if this is a 24-hour sort of epidemic or what it is. I guess that's kind of the general consensus of thought, is maybe this is going to be over in 24 hours. But I think that ending was perfect. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't end it any other way.
All right. I'm gonna go down to Sean. Sean, how did you feel about the end of this movie?
So I don't know. I'm up in the air about it. I have a problem with movies that end this way. Actually, years ago, I was reading that Bret Easton Ellis book, Rules of Attraction, and it ends mid-sentence. The fucking book ends mid-sentence. And I remember being so pissed off. More movies do it, obviously, than books do that. This one did it, and I don't like it. I could see why, because how the hell are you going to end this thing? What ending can you possibly give it that's going to be satisfying? There really isn't one.
Exactly.
Do you feel like that's something a story owes you? Like, this story has dragged you through this whole thing, whether you liked it or not, you followed it, and now we're not going to necessarily get an ending.
No, it doesn't. Nobody owes me anything. First of all, let's start off with that. Especially films. I mean, they're supposed to entertain, and this certainly did. I don't like it. I need some type of closure. However, I see why they did it, so I can't get too mad at the producers here.
All right, Mike, we'll go to you, and then we'll finish off with the man himself, Scary Larry. What did you think about the ending of Mom and Dad?
I thought it was fine, because this is one of those there's no real good ending to this. It kind of like a zombie movie. Like the excitement for me for zombie movies are, the break, people, the first break out of the zombies, and then how do people deal with it? And then it's either it's got to go away, or you just end the movie, because after a while it's like, okay, all the parents are killing all the children. What's more to say? And, if you think about it, Nicolas Cage is going to bleed out because Lance Henriksen stabbed the shit out of him.
He stabbed the fuck out of him.
Yeah, I don't know how he's still alive. Anyways,
you're not going to die. I didn't get you in the guts.
Yeah, but then he stabbed him another like 3 times in the car too.
Yeah,
true.
Before,
he was stabbing him in the ass and the back of the leg.
That's right in the ass.
But I mean, what's the end? What's the end? So I think having that there was perfectly fine. I mean, look, it's not a super serious movie anyway, so it's walking away at a funny soundbite, I think is good.
All right, Larry.
I'm the same as Mike. Where's it going to go? What are you going to do? Tell me that maybe they could throw up the Maximum Overdrive title card and say that the comet has passed, and 6 days later everything was back to normal.
A Russian UFO, or a Russian nuclear weapon.
Whatever.
Or you could say
card
Poochie died on his way back to his home planet, for you Simpsons fans.
Yeah. There's, I don't need to. I think it went on. Whatever that signal was, did its job, and either the parents killed their kids or they got killed trying to kill their kids, and that's it. I don't need to see it. I think the ending is fine as it is.
All right, so that's it. That's Mom and Dad, 2018's choice. Nicolas Cage, Selma Blair. We're going to rate it in a minute, but before we rate it, got to tell you, you want to head on over as soon as this ends to www.connecticutcultclassics.com. You want to go to Scary Larry's voting page, and you want to drop down that little menu, because the next 5 movies, 5 this time, because there's 5 of us on this episode, 5 this time are going to be up for vote. And Larry is going to tell you what year they're from and what the movie is. So Larry, take it away.
Let's go in reverse order by chronological order, whatever the fuck I just said.
Whatever order you want.
Yeah, whatever I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
I have no fucking idea. So the 5 of us rolled some 20-sided die, and we came up with Lloyd rolled a 15, which 2015 great death metal movie, Deathgasm.
That's what I rolled.
So that's a choice. Mike did not have a 20-sided die, so we rolled for him. He got an 11. Right? Yep. So 2011's Rubber. You know, if tires killing people is your thing, vote for it. John took out his trusty 20-sided die and rolled a 6 for Adam Green's Hatchet, 2006. Sean also did not have a 20-sided die because he will not stoop to playing Dungeons and Dragons like all the other nerds. So we rolled for him, got a 5, and we'll be heading to the Outback for 2005's Wolf Creek and Head on a Stick.
Fucking head on a stick. Head on a stick.
Head on a stick, mate.
Terrifying. And
then I rolled a 1, Uno, which is pretty much what I always rolled in Dungeons and Dragons anyway. For one of my all-time favorite movies, 2001's Frailty.
All right.
So that's those are your 5 choices for the next vote that are up now: Frailty, Wolf Creek, Hatchet, Rubber, and Deathgasm.
All right, that's a good vote. You guys get out there, vote it up, and then we'll watch the movie and record it and report back to you. But let's finish this one off. Time to rate 2018's Mom and Dad, scale of 0 to 5. And Larry, what are we going to do this for this one? What are we going to do?
0 to 5. What are we going to do for the rating scale? You know, it's so great to see Lance Henriksen in any movie. We're rating Lance Henriksen's.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
0 to 5. Lance Henriksen's quarter and half scale is an option here on the Pint. Let's start with the Manster. I want to hear what the Manster thinks.
You want to hear what I think?
I want to hear how Mom and Dad affected the Manster.
Yeah, how many Lance Henriksens is Mom and Dad worth for you?
I hope I didn't give the wrong impression, that I want to kill my children at any point in this movie. That is absolutely not the case. I love my kids more than I love my
Look, let's be honest. But again, not being a parent, I'm sure the 3 of you at some point or another have all thought, man, I'd like to kill this kid. And,
absolutely.
I think that's where we're supposed to be as humans. That's what makes this movie a movie.
I told my wife after this, because she watched it with me, and I said, someone just, how you have that thought, I just wish I would kill that kid or something like that because he's pissing me off so much. I said, someone just took that and they just rolled with it and created some kind of bonkers movie about it. So I totally understand why this movie was created. So, for me, the bonkers horror theme, it just serves as a springboard for a really dark, bloody, disgusting midlife crisis movie. That's what it is. And that powers the movie. And it's got some really poignant moments. The scene in the basement is really powerful. I really connected with what he was saying in that scene. The sacrifices that you make as a parent that your kids just don't understand. They'll never understand until they're possibly a parent 40 years later. And the disappointment of the real fucking life, that the expectations you have as a 20-year-old stud, and then where you are 30 years later, just forget it. It's all out the door. None of that exists in real life. And you got over the top performance from Nicolas Cage, and Brian Taylor really knows how to craft a sort of insanity and just make it fun to watch. And I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 Lance Henriksens.
3.5 out of 5. That's about Pumpkinhead Lance Henriksen right there. 3.5 out of 5. Let's go down to Shawnee Mack. Let's find out what Shawnee Mack says about this. And again, Sean is a writer for horrornewsnetwork.net. Go check them out. Please add them to your homepage. when you're eating your lunch at work and you have a little bit of time eating your little tuna sandwich, check in with horrornewsnetwork.net and read the latest article from any of these guys. Sean, what do you think? How many Lance Henriksen's do you give it?
Man, so I'm going in raw here. I didn't even think about, after watching it, what my score would be.
I heard you like to go in raw.
I go raw dog. Yeah,
Where you get kids from?
Straight up. Straight up. You know it. Shit, these are the only ones I know about.
That's why it's got 3. That's why it's got 3.
There could be 10. Who knows?
It could be.
So, no, there wouldn't be that many, believe me. Everything Lloyd said, man, was right on the money. As a parent, that scene, and it's funny because it comes amidst of them trying, the craziness of them trying to kill their kids, but that scene in that basement between Selma Blair and Nicolas Cage and everything he's saying are, I'll be honest, are things I have thought of recently. They're not things that'll ever come to fruition or that you ever take too seriously, but they are things that I've thought of pretty recently. Like, wow, man, it feels like I was just back doing this, and it feels like yesterday, and and sometimes it really does. But as a parent, you would do anything for your kids. You would give them the world if you could, and I do honestly feel that way too. Again, Lloyd nailed that. So I could sympathize with the killers a little bit. I'm going to go a little bit less. So I'm going to go 3.25 Lance Henriksen's, and God, it's a good movie. I mean, it's a good movie. There's several different types of characters you can relate to in this film.
All right, I'll go next. I'm not a parent, but I play one on TV. I play one on TV.
You need to go in raw, John.
I'm gonna yeah. I haven't gone in raw enough. Much like Sean, maybe there are some kids out there that I don't know about, but I'm not supporting them, so I don't give a fuck. They're not coming out of my check, motherfuckers.
Don't want to kill them.
That said, the scene in the basement, again, we keep going back to that. Don't have to be a parent to feel that. We were all the younger men at one point, and maybe we all had an idea of what life should be. And no matter how happy any of us may be, and I'm a happy guy, I appreciate everything I have, and I appreciate the life I have. But I'm not going to lie, there aren't moments where I think, boy, what would it be like to be like, have this kind of money? What would it be like to, you know what I mean? Like, you think those thoughts occasionally, like, what would things be like a little bit differently? My job in particular, we don't get into that stuff, but what would it be like to not have to fucking do what I have to do? Those kind of thoughts. And I got that. I got the frustrations. And I do think, I said earlier, the superfluous thing, I don't think those scenes are superfluous. I just wanted to gauge whether anybody else did or didn't. I think those scenes are super important because they make you want them not to kill these kids and also make you want them not to get kind of hurt in their pursuit of these kids, because you kind of want this family to end up together. Cage is a tough one because we talked about it a little bit earlier. He's definitely might have a little bit of a tendency there against the boyfriend, and he makes that awful joke in the beginning. But and as we do assume, however this movie ends, and I'm not a huge fan of like the mid-sentence ending, he's probably not going to make it because he has literally been fucking stabbed like 86 times by Lance Henriksen. But yeah, I walked away from this. I really enjoyed it, and I'm gonna go right with my Wonder Twin over there, Lloyd. I gave this a 3.5, 3.5. I didn't know what to expect, and when I was done, I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed this, and I don't remember who. Somebody asked me about it, like knew I was watching it, or I posted it, and I'm like, watch it. Like, you got to watch this movie. So definitely worth it. All right, let's go. Before we go to Larry, because Larry's the final word, let's go to Mr. Simonetta, Officer Simonetta. What in your official paperwork filings, Officer Simonetta, how many Lance Henriksens are you going to turn in on this one?
Does Sean know the Officer Simonetta?
No
reasoning
explanation needed.
Does Sean, do you know why we're calling him Officer?
I assumed he was a narc.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's part of it.
Larry and I both made the same joke, or Larry made the joke, but I had been thinking it in Friday the 13th Part 5. The sheriff kind of looks like Mike, and as soon as he popped up on screen, I said to myself, "Oh, Officer Mike Simonetta," and I thought, nah, I'm never going to say that out loud because Larry's going to go, what are you, fucking nuts? And then we did our Friday the 13th show, and Larry's like, did you notice the cop? And I'm like, fuck!
I was like, as soon as I saw him, I'm like, it's Officer Mike Simonetta. Look at that. So that's the joke.
He's a lawman.
Lawman.
Law don't work right here, law dog.
I was just going to say it. You fucking took it.
Yeah, you know. I like to steal your thunder, Larry.
I said law don't work around here. Law dog is savvy.
Well, I for one will not talk about the basement speech, but I think we just tripped upon something, where Lloyd found out when we were joking about having kids that would have been great. Wouldn't it have been great to see two parents, but if like the wife cheated and the dad wasn't really the dad, so he didn't actually want to kill him?
I do want to bring this up because I thought about this before. The boyfriend in the scene where the baby's giving birth does not try to kill the kid. And I thought, and I thought,
his kid.
Is this like them saying that it's not his kid? Because
they say that though before.
They said it already. But that's mentioned before.
Oh, is it? Okay, it is mentioned. Oh,
when they're wheeling her in, they're like, is this the father? And then she's like, no, boyfriend, don't ask any questions.
Oh, okay. All right, my fault.
So the one that would have been cool. Two, what we didn't touch upon, though, is besides Nicolas Cage's racism, the movie's racism that the only black person in the movie lives on the wrong side of the tracks in a shitty ass house where his dad's a fucking asshole drunk who kind of, you get the hint, tried to kill him before.
Not again, Dad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then has to go, save the rich white people. Yeah. So that was a little like, nah. But overall, I thought this was good. It's definitely not as good as Crank. It's definitely worth a watch. I give it 2.75 Lance Henriksen.
All right, Larry, it's up to you. Where's this going to end up?
Listen, Mike's a tough sell.
Mike is always a hard rater.
Mike's always a tough sell on these things. Mike doesn't like good movies. I've come to realize, but
he likes pretentious movies.
Yes.
No, that's not true. We watched Maximum Overdrive for a reason. I will defend Maximum Overdrive to the end.
That was him.
Right. Yeah. I'll give you that.
But he also likes fucking Beyond the Black Rainbow and things of that nature. But whatever.
Okay.
Which I actually like too. But so whatever. So yeah, I mean, listen. I'm going to like every movie that's on this season because I picked them. You asked me to pick some of my favorite movies from these years. I ended up not picking my actual favorites. I picked the ones that I thought would be most fun to talk about. Right. Mom and Dad was on my list of top 18 of 2018, but it wasn't my favorites. My favorites of that year were Cold Hell and Terrified, a couple other ones. But this was up there.
Was Mandy that year?
Yes, Mandy was. Okay. Yeah, Mandy was that year. Yes, it was. Mandy was also 2018.
Well, how the hell do you talk about that movie?
Well, exactly. That's that would be a tough one to really break down. Plus, that's Nick Cage at his most manic, really. When he's punching cocaine up his nose and drinking straight vodka in his underwear.
Half of it, though. That's
only for half of it.
I had seen it before. I brought a friend in to watch Mandy. Yeah. And in the beginning, for like first half hour, she's like, what the fuck is this? I thought you said that. I'm like, it's gonna get good. Just hold on.
Just wait. Yeah, because Mandy is fucking bonkers. So yeah, I'm pretty much gonna like everything we talk about in this season. But Mom and Dad, for me, I listen. I think it's just a really smart movie. Parents, maybe a lot of parents are a little bit jealous of their teenage kids. They see what they're kind of living it up like they used to live it up. And, it's really rubbing it in, really hammering it home that those days are long fucking gone. I'll say it if nobody else fucking will. Nick Cage, is awesome, but Selma Blair for me is the rock star of this movie.
Yeah.
I really thought she was perfect, especially when shit kicked off. When she got home and saw Josh for the first time, she took over. She took over that movie. Nick Cage was a supporting actor.
Nicolas Cage is absolutely a supporting actor in this movie. Yeah. Selma Blair and the girl who plays the daughter are the leads. Totally. because
100%.
you jump to their stories a lot more, and then Nicolas Cage is kind of like he's the flourish.
Yeah, he's the guy getting blown up.
She grounds it because he's just like at 150 from the second it starts.
Right, and she's like, "Fucking slow down. Let's put together a plan." He's there for the fucking comic relief. The place blows up. He's got Fruit Loops stuck all to his face. She's running the fucking show, and frankly, she's great. She's fantastic. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this movie. For me, on the Lance Henriksen scale, I'm gonna go 4. I'm gonna go 4 Lance Henriksens. I'm gonna go
4.
I think that's Alien. That's got to be Alien Lance Henriksen, right?
That's Alien.
That's what I figured you would do, Larry.
Yeah, I'm a full 4 on Mom and Dad. I did really enjoy this, and I've recommended it to a lot of people who have not listened to me and watched it.
Yeah. Something just occurred to me. I don't know why, but when Larry was talking, there was a scene in the high school early on, I think, when the teacher was doing a lesson about planned obsolescence. And that is fucking what parenthood is. That's what being a 50-year-old parent is. You're fucking obsolete at that point. Doesn't matter anymore.
Dr. Davis to the Lloyd wing of Pint of Comics.
Lloyd.
Dr. Davis, we're going to need you at the Lloyd wing, Manster wing of Pint of Comics podcast. Yeah, Lloyd. I'm going to talk to the HR people, find out what we can have done for you.
No, I just love that I was put in there. When I saw it, and then I rewatched the movie the second time, and I saw the planned obsolescence, I'm like, that's just beautiful placement.
So John, does the Pint have like an employee assistance program?
We do. We do.
You can call for Lloyd.
We do. As a matter of fact, my wife is a trained HR professional.
Perfect.
When we get off of this episode, I'm going to talk to her, and we're going to get some stuff set up for the Manster.
I love it.
All right.
So Lloyd's absolutely right. I'm sorry. I agree with him for the last
I fucking know this movie more than you guys all know it.
Lloyd and Sean are crying. They're watching this cry.
But he's right. Like, it's created with the plan that it's already obsolete.
Yeah.
Parents, the second they have kids, those kids are growing and you're dying.
Mike, Sean, do you want to call Sue at HR? Or
yeah, I think I
call it, buddy.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for backing me up.
No problem, Lloyd.
Sean, I have some good news for you. You've been on the show at least 5 times, so you actually you can get in on our plan. There's a little bit of a copay that Lloyd doesn't have to put up with, but I think it's going to be worth it for you too.
You know what? We'll pitch in. John and I, being non-children, we have extra money.
Yeah,
children, so we'll pitch in.
Listen, I can't work evenings, or I can't do evenings after 9. Don't ask.
I'm going to hold on to my money because Owen just started Hapkido, so I'll hold on. You guys pitch in for Sean.
All right. So instead of the usual thing where we go out telling you all about Pint of Comics and all that stuff, we won't do that tonight. But what we will do is, again, direct you towards the ConnecticutCultClassics.com. Please go there, go to Scary Larry's voting page, drop down that menu. We'll put this out on the Twitter, the whole 9 yards. And then for our guests, Sean and Mike and Larry, we'll also tell you one more time to go to www.horrornewsnetwork.net. And pretty please with sugar on top, go check out all the articles these guys put up there and all the good stuff. And then one more thing, Larry, again, without saying it, on the Cult Classics end, we want to keep people's interest, keep people's eyes open. What were the 2 dates of something happening coming along the lines? What were the dates?
That's a great fucking question. What are
May
those
15th?
Dates? May 15th and May 22nd. Does that sound right to you?
It sounds about right.
15th and 22nd.
Sounds good to me.
Larry won't be there, so no, whatever's happening, he won't remember.
Yeah. Hopefully one of you guys reminds me, because I'm apparently not remembering.
He'll be home watching TV like, what?
Yeah.
What's going on?
So the 15th and the 22nd, some cool things happening. Keep your eyes peeled on ConnecticutCultClassics.com. Manster, put it to bed.
You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around, and that's what it's all about. See ya.
We are leaving!